I bought a trailer halfway between Charlotte and Myrtle Beach. For those of you that don't know North Carolina and South Carolina, Myrtle Beach is on the coast of South Carolina. North Carolina is, Charlotte is inland. It's about a 3-hour drive. And between Charlotte and Myrtle Beach, there's nothing, absolutely nothing. There's a lot of land and a lot of people living out there on trailers, and I love trailers. And I'll tell you why I love trailers. We bought a HUD property that was on the market one time for $150,000 for $50,000. Don't ask me why I bought it, but it was out in the middle of nowhere, and I thought, well, the math works, and so I'm in this thing. I'm going to try this.
You bought it because you can't turn down a deal. That's why you bought it. I can't turn it
down. I'm a dealster, a trickster and a dealster. So we got HUD to accept $50,000 on it, and I rode down out in the middle of nowhere in Kershaw, South Carolina, found the address, found the property, walked in it, and I was shocked. I didn't even have to sweep the floor. The thing was in brand new condition. It came with 3.5 acres also. So
it's funny that it's in Kershaw because Sammy Kershaw sings a song about a double-wide trailer with polyester curtains.
Trust me, I'm going to start singing songs about double-wide trailers too. So we buy this thing for $50,000, and at this point we're just thinking, let's get in the rental business. And I stuck a sign out, and a couple days later, my phone rings, and somebody from Florida was moving into Kershaw. I cannot explain to you why someone from Orlando moves to Kershaw, South Carolina, but they did. And they said, well, hey, would you be interested in selling that trailer to us? I said, well, sure. What do you have in mind? They said, well, we've got $17,000 to put down. We'll put $17,000 down if you'll finance it for us. So I thought, well, I just paid $50,000 for it. That's a pretty quick recapture on a good bit of that money. So I said, yes. We signed an agreement. The agreement was that they would put $17,000 down, and they would pay rent of $760 a month for 5 years. And at that point in time, they would have enough financial history to go get a loan and pay me out of the deal. So we signed it up. I got $17,000. They moved in and started paying $760 a month. 5 months into it, with on-time payments, I get a phone call from the lady that was one of the occupants. She and her husband were occupants of the house. She said, Tim, I want to thank you for everything you've done for us. I'm moving back to Florida. We're getting divorced, and I want to thank you for everything you've done. I said, well, whoa, hold on a minute. You understand the $17,000 is non-refundable. She said, yep, I want to thank you for everything you've done. You've been great to us, and I'm going to leave it clean. Matter of fact, I'm going to paint it for you, which she did. I said, well, let me at least put it on the market and sell it for you. She said, nope, I'm done. I'm moving back to Florida. She said, meet me at the Bojangles. I'll give you the keys. So I said, okay. So I go down, meet her at Bojangles, pick the keys up, drive right on down to the unit and walk in, and sure enough, she left it spotless. It was absolutely in flawless condition. And I said, well, I've got my sign in the car. I'm going to stick my sign back out. I stuck my sign out at the road. I get back to Charlotte. A few days later, I get a phone call, and it was from a girl moving to town from Florence, South Carolina. We get in a conversation. She said, well, what's your rent amount? I said, it's $760 a month. She said, well, would you be interested in selling that trailer to me? I said, well, sure. What do you have in mind?
So this is the second time you're selling the same trailer.
Exactly. The second time in less than 6 months, too. So
tell me she's got a down payment.
She said, look, as a matter of fact, I have $3,500 to put down payment. Would you finance the rest? I said, absolutely. So we signed a contract. She gave me $3,500 and started paying $760 a month. And she stayed in the trailer for 4 years. And were great tenants. But she got a job promotion / transfer and was moving out of the state. And so she called me one day and she said, well, we're not going to be able to go forward with the purchase of the trailer. We love it. She said, but we're going to move. And I said, okay. I said, you realize you're going to forfeit your $3,500. She said, yep, we are. I want to thank you for everything you've done. So she said, don't worry about it. We're going to leave the trailer in great condition. So sure enough, I went down, got the keys back. Thing was in absolute perfect condition. So I put a sign out, a for rent sign, and now at this point you can guess it. Phone call not much later. A guy comes up. He says, I'd like to rent your trailer, $760 a month. And I said, well, are you interested in buying it? He said, well, no, I just want to rent it. So I thought, whew, at least that's off my back. Now I don't have to worry about somebody else walking away from their money. Because it was kind of disturbing to me, but I'm thinking, this actually happened to me, or I probably wouldn't believe it. He stayed in it for several years. So we're getting $760 a month for several years. Then a great thing happened in Kershaw, South Carolina. The gold mine that had been shut down years earlier because of the price of gold, the gold mine reopened. So now the guy that was renting it, he had been in it for several years. He moves out and takes a job in another town. And all of these people from West Virginia mining towns were moving to Kershaw, South Carolina because of the gold mine reopening. So currently, we have a tenant in there from West Virginia paying $950 a month. So if you back up on this thing, and I'm not sure exactly what the math is today, but it's now been rented for over a year at $950 a month.
Well, on your cost basis, your cap rate's on a top line before you take your tax insurance and start taking things out. You're at 38.6%.
Yeah, it's a good number. I got to admit that. But the interesting thing about it was that, when I bought the trailer in Kershaw, South Carolina, again, in the middle of nowhere, I couldn't make this up. I mean, there's no way I would have ever known that there was that type of a demand and that big of a market. And so I was asking one of the former tenants who had options to purchase, actually the second person that lived in it. I said, well, what drives you to that area? She said, she said, Tim, it's the garden tub. I was like, it's the garden tub. Okay, well, I couldn't really understand that one, but let's go with it. So the story is that we've owned that unit now for over 10 years. It's never been vacant for more than 2 weeks. We've collected deposits from buyers that walked away and pocketed those deposits. So the ROI, the return on our investment, has been astronomical, and we still own the unit today. So that's one of my funny stories that if you told me, I'd have a tough time believing it, but it's absolutely the truth.